Dan?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, hey. Zach, are you there?
Morning.
Yeah, hey. All right. So how's it? Oh, I see you coming in, Stan. That's a good sign. Cool.
So, how do you like to listen? Phone call, audio? Which?
You're
What?
good. Yeah, you're good. You shouldn't have to do anything from here, Stan.
Okay.
Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Does need to be a little bit bigger, or is this okay?
There it goes. Okay, I got it now. I made it full size.
Okay. So.
Oops. What did I do? Um. I don't know what I did.
Did you lose it?
Did I lose it?
You're still with us on
The meeting. Here it is. I think I got it now. Okay, go ahead. I'm following you now.
Okay, so what I did was you emailed me some spreadsheets. I was going to try and find them. Anyways, and I ended up converting them into a format that's compatible with our system. Okay.
Okay.
So, if we were to actually do this, we would do this import again because I wasn't hugely careful with making sure all the states were right and stuff like that. If you look over here, you can see like this state has the number 1 in it.
Right.
And this one is A period. So I didn't clean all this up just because it would take too long.
It's unnecessary at this point.
Right. So what I did was you sent me 3 spreadsheets. You sent me items, you sent me suppliers, and you sent me customers, which was perfect. Okay. So I took all 3 spreadsheets and I imported them into Inventory Pro. Okay. So here's your data in Inventory Pro, and what we're looking at now are suppliers. Okay. So hopefully this looks like your supplier list.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is my supplier list, yes.
Okay. So, and I did the same thing for customers. And I actually took 3 Dog Garage.
Okay.
And I made a user account for 3 Dog Garage. Okay.
Okay.
So that if I log out and I log back in as him, I think I made it 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What it does is it brings him to the quick order screen that we were talking about. And we simplified it so that it only really shows the item and the description and the category. I can't remember if he even needs to see the category or not. Should be harmless. And then all he's got to do is say, I want one of these and one of those and one of these. And we actually loaded. See if I can make a liar out of me. Yeah, we actually loaded the pictures for these. Now we just went out on the internet and tried to find some matching pictures.
Great.
Okay. So he can see what he thinks he's ordering. Okay. Which should help, people that are, your customers if they're not sure. They can take a look at what they think they're ordering. Okay. So all he's got to do is put the quantities in of the item he wants, and then click place order.
Now, how did you get that picture up? Those pictures you showed me.
Oh, see this little. Let me make this a little.
Oh, the image file. I see now. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
So if he wants to see a picture, he just clicks there, and you can have Zach, correct me here, 15 or 20 pictures per item.
As many as you'd like, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So
one will be plenty, but this is really good. This is good. I like this so far.
Okay. So what you would do is give all of your customers, we'd give all your customers a user account, and we'd tell them, to go to. Well, a couple of things we could do is we could tell them to go to your website, and then we would have like an order button here.
Okay.
Okay. So rather than, or even on our products page, you could have an order button.
Okay.
Anywhere you want, you can have an order button on your web page, or you could tell them to just go to, AdvantageSupply.com, and the order page would come up.
Great.
So
they would have to log in to get their item.
Right. Yeah, we wouldn't want it to be wide open to the world because, then you get all people, So we force everybody to have a username and a password.
Okay.
So unless, well, let's talk about this. If you wanted to have like an e-commerce interface, you could, and then people would register. If we didn't know them, it would force them to put in an address and a phone number and credit card information. We could do that, but that's more of an e-commerce interface. This is just like business to business, where you're giving your existing customers the ability to order online. They're not getting charged for it until, I know you have that. You don't like to invoice it until you've delivered everything on the order. So this will allow you to do that.
Now, let me ask you a question then.
Sure.
Many times a customer will call me or send an order into a salesperson.
Uh-huh.
So let's pretend this 3-dog account.
Uh-huh.
Dog Garage is my account. I'm not in the office. I can't write it out, but I want to send it into the office.
Uh-huh.
So I could, theoretically, I should be able to log into this account, click on the items that customer wants.
And yeah, the order would be in.
Now, when you say the order will be in,
oh, right.
What form does it end up being in?
See, I clicked place order on that, so it created this shipping order.
Okay.
So if I click on the shipping order, what it does is it takes me into the, I'm trying to remember, is it Keith in your warehouse?
Keith or Kelly, maybe?
Right. I forget the name of the
Keith
fellow.
is in the warehouse. Kelly's in the office.
Right. Keith would go in and see this order. He can go.
Right.
He can click on shipping orders, and it's going to give him a list of all of the open orders. So this is the order that we just created. Okay.
Right.
And then if he clicks on line items, well, we can fix this quick.
So you can see there that was a permissions error. So our system does have group permissions, so you can have fine-grained control over what your customers can look at, what they can't, what different users can even look at, what they can't. So.
Right. So I just quickly logged in as system.
Okay.
And this is the order that we created. So this is what the person in the warehouse would do is be continually looking at this order list. And this would, as new orders come in, well, I guess we could just go make another order. Let's make one to a different customer. 5-car stars. So now I'm making an order. Zach, what am I doing here? Why are no items showing up?
It's probably
you probably picked an account might not have ever purchased from us. So you might have picked one account that did not purchase from us.
Yeah, it might not have any. It might,
Just wait
that
for it.
warehouse might not have any parts assigned to it if the checkbox wasn't on when the warehouse was created.
Well, I did it. Maybe I needed
Okay, it
to
does
be
have
in the
parts.
warehouse. Yeah, absolutely, it does.
I know there's a bunch of different filters that run on those. Let me check what those are.
Well, this is demo data, Stan, so you got to be a little bit patient with this. So if I go back to quick order and I pick Three Dog Garage.
Go to, hold it. Okay, yeah. Okay, go there and click on a different item.
Yeah, I'm going to put 4 items on this one.
Okay, great.
So now we'll place the order. And now it's created. So we've created 67, 68, and 69. So here's 69. Okay. So these are the 4 items that he just ordered. Okay.
Gotcha.
So if we go back to orders, there's going to be another one. See how this list keeps growing?
Right.
Okay. So now when Keith in the warehouse looks at 69, he can see that he needs to go grab those 4 items and ship them to Three Dog Garage.
The problem is, by the way, none of the parts are marked as a cell in the database. So I'm just fixing that real quick.
It's weird that it works on the quick order, but okay.
Well, you probably left that column blank when you imported it. So, quick order, I don't know if it has the same filter.
Can you mark them as
that
a
also
cell?
filters.
Mark them as a buy and as a sell, Zach, if they're not. Okay. Sorry about that, Stan. So we're fixing it in the background here. So.
Wow, 7,000 rows. Okay, should be fixed.
And he can, again, any place you see the camera, he can click and do the picture trick. And you can print an invoice here. Now, you guys are using QuickBooks, so I think you're still going to do your invoicing through QuickBooks. So I probably shouldn't even show this. So here's what the shipping order looks like. If this is what our internal kind of invoice looks like. There's no since nothing is shipped, there's no amounts here. Let me go in and ship it. So return, not return. So this is, I'm going to start issue, which is actually, you know, we can print the pick list. Let me show you the pick list first. So this would help Keith. This would tell him where the items are in the warehouse to go get. And then there's actually signature lines down here if you wanted to save these documents, you know, who it was picked by, who it was checked by, and stuff like that. You know, these are optional as to whether you use them or not. And we can change the format of this pick list if you want it to look differently. So once it's picked, you can do the start issue. And then you have to tell the system where the items were loaded from or picked from. And then you just finish the issue, which means you've like loaded it on the truck and it's going out. And then you can print a packing slip. So this would be, you know, what was on that order to Three Dog Garage. It would be your logo up here. I apologize. I should have changed the logo. And your full address here. And then now that once it's shipped, you could go back and print the invoice. I must not have any pricing in there. But if there was price, let's go look. See if we've uncovered another little fault in our data. Yeah, there's no pricing in here yet. So, but maybe this is a good segue. I think we talked about having different price levels or discounts per customer. The system can handle price levels per customer. Correct me when I go wrong here, Zach. If we go into the customer record, here's your discount, and then here's your price level. So if you wanted to give a customer a blanket discount percentage, or you wanted to put them in a price level, you can do that.
And the price levels are just 0 through 5. 0 uses the default pricing, and then each level above that uses the different pricing. You can type in a higher number, unfortunately, but it doesn't do anything at that point.
So it's 0 through 5, 1 through 5, 0 through 5. Stan's gotten quiet on me. Either he's distracted by a sale or I've lost him. I think he's distracted by a sale.
It could be disconnected.
Well, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear. We can hear you.
I'm sorry. I inadvertently hit the mute button, so I heard everything you said.
Okay.
Okay, I heard everything you said. My question to you is, if I have a certain situation where I need a certain price for a customer and it's not on a price level, nor is it a certain discount off our list price, can I put that price in?
Yeah, what you can do is on the actual order,
Right.
you can go in and change the price.
So
that's just what we default to. So.
Yeah.
Will the program say that for next time he orders that item at 2323? Would that come up again, or I have to manually enter a price each time?
Right now,
you'd have to manually.
Right now, you'd have to do it every time. But I remember you talking about wanting to save every item per every customer. We could look at that. It's a lot of data. But
well,
we
could also just pull from the log and find out what the last cost was, to that customer.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And just pull that up directly. So.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
that actually might be a better idea, Zach.
Yeah, because we have the material outlog. We can just look up the customer number and the item number and pull up the last cost. Now, if you changed it over time, we'd only pull up the most recent one. But yeah, I think we could do that.
Now, the other question I had, which you couldn't hear me because I was muted, was when I invoice, would I be invoicing it with your program or QuickBooks?
Either one. You can do it both ways.
So to do all my accounting through QuickBooks.
Right. So the invoice is going to show up in QuickBooks. So you can print the invoice in QuickBooks. You can continue to do all your payables and receivables in QuickBooks. But if for some reason, say you're at a customer and you wanted to give them an invoice, you could print an invoice out of Inventory Pro and give it. The invoice in Inventory Pro is going to match the invoice in QuickBooks, so you could print it either place.
See, one of the situations that we have fairly frequently is I or one of my salespeople are in front of a customer, and if they could pull up this, and we'll use the 3-door garage as an example. If we could pull up this 3-door garage, and this is what they purchased, this is their purchase history.
Right.
That's possible, correct?
Absolutely.
I would need a pad, or can they be done on a phone?
It could be done In either
Okay.
place, actually. You could do it on a desktop. You could do it on a phone, a smartphone or a tablet.
Yeah, I guess a tablet or a pad would be much better just because of
Right.
visual.
Right.
Um,
It's bigger.
right, that's what I'm thinking.
Right. But you could do it in either place.
Okay. Now,
Hey, Zach, where would I go for like customer order history under reports, shipping orders?
Yeah, there should be a shipping order detail report that'll show you every shipping order, what was on it. You can filter that by customer.
so it won't just give me a list of items that this customer purchased. For example, 3-dog garage or 5-dog garage, whatever it is. It won't give me. Let's say I go into.
Yeah,
Let's pretend I'm 3-dog garage, and I get a password. I go into the thing. Will it show me just the items I've ordered in the past, or will it show me every item that I have that Advantage offers?
well, both ways. I mean, it depends on the report that you're looking at. In this case, we're looking at shipping order detail, so it would show him everything he bought when.
Okay.
It would all be filtered to him.
Okay.
And then,
So,
I mean, we could give him access to another report, and it could be like an inventory item master list report, and it would show him, basically your catalog. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm not sure this is working right.
actually, the last thing you just showed me would basically work unless it was
Right.
unless the customer has bought so many items that it takes more than a page or two.
Well, the other thing that we could do, Stan. Where was I? Got a lot of windows going here. Is to when 3-dog garage logs in, the menus are going to be much simpler. Let me log out. The menus up here get much simpler. See, when I click on system, nothing shows up. When I click on reports, nothing shows up.
But what I'm looking at right now on the screen that's Advantage's entire inventory.
Right.
Okay,
right,
just want to make
right.
sure.
And you could, there's different views here. We can make it so that it shows all previously ordered items.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's click on it and see what it looks like.
Yeah, you're not going to like it because we have these columns back in it. But it's only populating what he ordered last time.
Okay.
But it doesn't prevent him from adding to the order. He can he can add more items, but it's going to populate, with the stuff that he orders most frequently, obviously, because it's going to show him the last order.
Right.
Okay. So that'll make life a lot easier for him.
It only shows the last order, won't show his complete history.
Well, we could change it so that it shows the items. I may be getting this wrong. Previously ordered items.
I think it does show everything because I remember fighting with that screen to get that to work a while back. So I think it does pull up anything they've ordered previously.
Right.
Okay.
Now, can you put another column there with the description of the item?
Yep.
So, for example, the first item is 002400, the default towel.
Yes. It's just a matter of getting the view right, Stan. So I just pulled, sorry. Let me pull this up. I got to put a quantity in.
Yeah, I don't think it saves it unless there's quantity.
Right. Here's the description.
Right.
Okay, so we just have to get the screen set. We call them screen sets. We just have to get the screen set the way you like it. So we can set up one in this simple format that shows the previously ordered items. That's probably what you want.
So theoretically, I don't have to type up any moments.
Right. Absolutely.
In a
That's
perfect world, yeah.
that's the whole goal of this. And
Or one of my salesperson types in an order, emails it to us, and then we have to retype it into the system.
all that goes away. Your salesperson just goes in now and does, I'm at, three dog garage, and he just goes click, 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 submit or save, place order, and then Keith, if he was looking at his screen, would see the order instantly and be able to fill it and ship it. It all happens real time.
We also have a notification system as well, so we could also generate a notification every time an order comes in to
right. So we can
send the orders.
Send emails to whoever is processing it to look for a new order.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of you telling, it's not going to be perfect on day one, but maybe, after like a month or two, we should have it so it works pretty smoothly for your operation, whether you need notices or not, whether you need packing slips or invoices and how you want them to look. We customize it to meet your process.
So let me just review this with you. Look, here's the screen in front of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would click over here, line item 1, and let's pretend the customer 1 is 2. I would just mark it 2.
Mm-hmm.
Line item 2, let's pretend he wants 3. Let's go down there for 3. And that's what he wants. And
Yep.
all I do at that point is hit place order. Can you take the call?
See, and then boom, it created this order. Okay? And then what Zach is saying is now that that order got created, we could send an email to, Judy and Keith and Ed saying, 3 Dog Garage just ordered. Bitten by security again.
Okay. Now, I'm under the impression that this will not interface with this Activate program that we purchased.
Right. They're separate, right?
Okay.
Basically,
and if I understand your system properly, you're going to be sending an invoice to QuickBooks.
Right.
So let's pretend, for example, QuickBooks receives an order for 2 cases of Seafold towels.
It would come from Inventory Pro, right?
It wouldn't come from your program.
No, it wouldn't. Inventory Pro this is Inventory Pro, right? That's correct.
Now, if I still kept this Activate program, they sync. The QuickBooks and the Activate program sync. Will this invoice go back to Activate and pull out 2 cases of Seafold from inventory, or not really? Or you have no idea?
I don't know why you do that, because we have all the same inventory functionality that Activate does. Basically, we're replacing Activate, Stan. See how all the inventory is over here?
So I would no longer need, you're saying I would no longer need that other program.
Right.
This would actually, so when I receive an order for Seafold towels and I get in 100 Seafold towels,
right,
I would have to enter it into your system?
Right. Right. Instead of Activate.
So I'm not purchasing just a system of ordering, I'm also purchasing an inventory system.
Right. It's an inventory system that does ordering. The heart of it is inventory. So we do barcoding. Here's a barcode label.
Gotcha.
We do the heart of it's a warehouse management system that does ordering. So it basically replaces Activate.
Okay.
Unless there's something that I don't know about that Activate does that we don't do, but which is very possible. You can have reorder points on your items.
Okay.
this one doesn't have any, but so if you get, actually, I don't think any of them have any. Well, maybe I did. Yeah. So say when it gets to 100, you want to fill it to 200.
Right.
Whoop. And you want to order in quantities of 15, or I don't know, 24 is probably more logical.
Actually, it's 48, but anyway.
Yeah, whatever. So you save it. There's a utility out there that will suggest purchase orders. There's a restocking utility here. Yeah, create purchase orders for restocking. So I just put that one in. So we only have 9 in stock. It says reorder when you get below 100 and fill it to 200 and order in groups of 24.
Right.
So it's telling us to order 192, which
Gotcha.
is 8 times 24. Okay. So it's going to take us up to 201 if we don't sell anything between now and when it comes in. So it'll actually generate this purchase order. All right, I'm sorry. I want to create the.
So my next question is, staying with the inventory and using that product, default PAL, 002400, well, where on the system I could see cost of that item? Is there any where I could see the cost of what I purchase it at and what I selling it at?
If we go into the details, wherever there's a pencil, it'll take you into the details of the record of the item, and there's a cost tab down here. Now, we didn't populate any of this when we did the import. I probably should have put some fake numbers in here, but here's your here's your cost.
So you could put a number in there now?
Oh yeah, sure.
Put $10 in this for the fun of it.
And let's say we sell it for 20.
Okay. Now, can I put in a cost factor of 5% to my cost of $10?
Cost factor. What does that do?
The reason is, when I do sales commissions to my salespeople, I take my cost and I add 5% to my cost for shipping, handling, warehousing, etc.
Oh, it's like an overhead factor.
Right.
I don't know that we've done that for anybody, have we?
Well, we could set up in the purchasing module, we could set up, instead of a discount, I believe there's another charges thing. Maybe set that up to add 5% to every order or something. When it's brought in, I'm not sure.
Not every order, just every item.
Just every item. We could add the logic into the database to convert it when you enter in the pricing. When you enter the cost, excuse me. But
hold on 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
No problem.
But he wouldn't be giving it to the supplier, Zach. He just want to be keeping track of it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's an easy way to add the 5% on. Because we already support the, just put in a negative discount amount. I think it would actually do it. But
I'm sorry, Ben.
No, that's okay. So what I did is I created a purchase order here for the Seafold towels. And you can see it populated, you buy them for 10, our sample was $10.
Right.
Okay. So we would have to, do you use 5% for every item?
Most of the time. So right now what I do is I go to QuickBooks and I run a report. And I just do a simple spreadsheet to add the 5% on. So I would just do it the same way, I guess, when I run a commission report. But I was just wondering if you had something in your system that would give me an extra cost factor. So if a salesman A calls me up and says, "Stan, how much are default towels?" I can look and say, "Oh, they're 10. Your cost is $10.50."
We could do a
As
report that
opposed to
shows
saying
that.
it's
Well,
I think
yeah,
it's
but
just a flat 5%. I mean,
well, but
for most
it
of
sounds like he wants to save it per item. I don't know. There might be some items that there'd be a little variation on.
yeah. Well, we could just use one of the unit costs and pricing fields and
Right.
just let you
So
put in, have it default to 5%. If you need to change it to 6, 10, whatever, you know, and then just use one of their standard reports in the system, you know, and instead of
Right.
just showing the $10 flat, we just show 10 times, you know, that 5%. And
Yeah, 10.50.
I'll put that to the screen.
Sure.
okay. Now, but it's another question here. If I put together a catalog, can this
Oh, I picked the wrong one. That's a barcode catalog. Hold on. We have a catalog in here already.
yeah, I see you're playing around with it right now.
And this can be tweaked, okay, so that we can add or remove fields. It shows the item ID barcoded, and then a picture of your item, and then the description. We could add, like, you know.
You could add price to it.
Yep. We can add whatever you want to it. Basically, this is just a standard report, and we would change the report. So.
Okay, so if I didn't want the barcode in it, for example, you would just take the barcode out.
Right. And if you wanted the picture all the way to the left or all the way to the right,
Right.
you know.
And if I wanted to have it under paper products and
yeah, we could sort it by category.
Categories or towels or whatever I want. So somebody wants to see, okay, towels.
Right.
Defaults.
Yep.
They can type it in and it will pop up.
See, this thing already has a sort by description and category. So we could make it a filter as well, so it only shows certain categories, you know, and then you could print like subcatalogs.
Okay.
There's also a lot of filterable reports in the system as well that show you similar information. So if you need to pull it out in Excel or anything like that, you can do that as well.
Right.
And you can also search, so if you only want to look at a particular category, you can pull that up and different things like that.
But we'd have to, in terms of this report, we'd have to tweak this report. This report's not looking at any of those filters or anything now. But that's what we do, Stan, is we customize it to meet your need. So, you know, hopefully it's not a big deal, and, you know, we can just go in, you know, make the changes, and you know, online they'll have what you need.
Okay.
The biggest difference between this, I think, and I forgot the name of the other one already. Activate is that this is browser based, so everything's kind of happening on the internet, and theirs is installed kind of like QuickBooks, so it's running directly on your PC. So, you know, you could be in the Bahamas and be working in this. You can see, you know, you can be anywhere in the world and do what you need to do.
As long as I log into, okay, right now, for me to do that, I would log in to my computer.
Right.
At the office.
Right.
Remotely.
Right. You'd have to log in remotely to do it. Now you just go downstairs in the hotel and use their PC, and you just go to this URL up here, you know, in a browser, and then boom, you're in. You put a username and a password, and you're working. You don't have to go through that hassle of connecting to your PC in your office. And
so if I'm on the street, if I'm out selling and I don't have a computer with me, but I have my phone, I can just type that into my my browser or my phone,
right,
and pull up this information.
And even better yet, we have a mobile app that I'm bringing up right here that's designed to work on your phone.
Oh, really?
Right. Okay.
That is. I have one salesperson who
Right.
does everything on his phone.
Right. So he would log in using his phone into this, and it's not on here now. We need to add it. He would have a quick order screen on here where he can place an order really quickly. But he can,
Okay.
right now, he can view the orders. Oh, work orders is not a good idea. So here's, orders that we just made to Three Dog Garage, and here's what's on them. So he can see what people previously ordered. He can see the inventory. If he wants to see how much, trying to remember what that, was it 0, 200? Yeah. Zach, how do I,
Put in the percent symbol. That website's not on my update list, so.
Was it 200? Did it start with 200? I forget what the Seafold towels were. I didn't get the Seafold towels. Must be 0, 200. I guess I could look for under
item ID. You're looking for a product to put in there?
Yeah. Is there no way to search by description? How's that?
Click on item ID. It's a drop down box. Pretty much any field on the item master can be searched by.
So now if we
So
want
you
to
type in.
So now if we want to search for towels,
why are you putting in the percentage figure? And
it's a wild card. It's a wild card. Yeah. Okay.
There's
so
your Seafold.
Now it's showing us everything that has towels in the description.
Right.
Okay. And there's my Seafold towels right at the top.
Right. Your first item.
Right.
00.
I don't know why the picture didn't show up, but we have little quirks in our demo data we need to work
It
out.
might not be the root folder might not be defined properly in the in mobile.
Right,
I know Benson forgets to change those settings sometimes.
So, but anyways, the crux of it, Stan, is your salesperson that's out on the road would be using this app.
Oh yeah.
And actually, even your warehouse guy, this is really designed for the warehouse guy. You can receive, issue, move. It's all built into this.
Cycle counts.
Right. It's all built into this app. So this is what your internal people would use the most, and probably including you, because you primarily do sales. So there's a mobile app that's built for.
It sounds very good. Why don't you guys send me a quote?
Okay.
And
yeah, we'll go from there. We'll do another.
See if I can afford it. And we'll go from there.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Stan.
This has it looks like it has about everything that I would want.
I think so. Rarely do I say that you're pretty close to a perfect fit for what we have built so far, but you're pretty close. There's a few little tweaks we can make that'll make it a lot better, but nothing is. The changes you've suggested so far are pretty minor, I think. We just need to get that quick order screen shows what they previously ordered in that very simple format, and then give you that overhead factor on the cost.
And defaulting to the last price they paid.
Right. Those are all pretty
ridiculous.
simple. Yeah, those are all pretty simple.
Yeah, because they can default to the last price. Then if they order Seafold towels, the last price they pay will come up.
Right.
Great.
Cool. All right, we're all busy.
Looking forward to discussing the quote with you.
Great.